Welcome to another Howls and Growls breakdown, and today we're talking about Minnesota's Game 1 win over the Denver Nuggets, and of course that means we are talking about Anthony Edwards ascending into God mode again. I really don't think this needs much preamble. Edwards scored 43 points, he ripped the game away from the defending champs, and he massacred Denver's defense at every turn. This was a performance that will live long in Minnesota Timberwolves lore, and while I usually try to find some more nuance within these breakdowns, it felt unjust to decipher anything but the scoring barrage and how it came about. So it's important that Ant scored, but it is more important how he scored. Here the Wolves go into their empty corner pick and roll, so they can get into this action with just two defenders here in the mix, and then they can warp the floor by forcing this defender down to cover. So when Conley engages the big man, the Nuggets have this triangle of defenders that are leaving Towns and Edwards too much space. So Conley hits Gobert, then Towns makes the cut to open space, and now everyone is packed in the paint while Edwards is left alone, and that means he can work the closeout on the catch and put Jamal Murray in the torture chamber to get the and one. And the key feature of Ant's postseason so far has been his shrewdness with his decision making as a scorer. So when he catches here, he can't go baseline because Gordon has that angle, and he can't come through the middle because Conley and Porter are there as well. So he waits. Porter can't commit here because Conley will be open in the corner curling around, and now he's got that angle to smoke Gordon and get to the rim. But if someone is getting 43 points against this Nuggets team, it's gotta come in different ways. So he's in this weird high post position here, and Conley goes away from him, but look how Conley leads him to the spot so that Ant can spin away into the lane and Towns can find him on that cut with a slick feed. And those easy buckets are really crucial against the Nuggets in this playoff environment because living on tough looks is tiring for any player. But really, above all, I think the thing that should concern Denver is how easily Edwards is going to destroy their pick and roll coverage in this series. Jokic usually comes up to the level here, but if Ant rejects that screen, Jokic is stuck here and he can't leave a gap this big because Edwards is going to plow through it, find contact, and get tough shots to drop. And if Edwards doesn't want to tango with Jokic's big frame in pick and roll, he's going to call Towns into a screen. The Nuggets are going to switch that here, with Towns being guarded by that small man, and Reggie Jackson is going to have to get in the weight room if he wants to switch onto Edwards consistently. And we even saw some possessions tonight where Jokic just didn't come up into that hedging pick and roll coverage, and that's when you get things like this. Jokic falls back into drop coverage, Gobert's flipping that screen on Jackson, and Jokic is too deep here when Edwards walks into a mid-range jumper, and those are rhythm shots for him at this point because he's been feasting on that in-between range all postseason long. And if the Joker is going to drop, Minnesota are going to put him in actions to stress test the efficiency of that. This wide pin down twirl action is the first option in this set, but then the Wolves flow into their corner zoom action with Edwards, and when he comes off the handoff, here's Jokic again in that drop coverage, and unless he's at the level, it's target practice from the mid-range again. And I love the way Minnesota forced Jokic to work as that pick and roll defender. This was my personal favourite play of the night, so rather than straight pick and roll, they get this cross screen in first on Jokic so that Gobert can get up into this ball screen without Jokic chasing in right behind him, and that means he can never quite get up to pressure Edwards at the level of the screen, and he's stuck in this semi-drop coverage. And then watch Gobert here. He's flipping that screen to free Edwards, and then he's getting in here for that highway screen that kind of walls off Jokic on the run so that Edwards can get downhill unimpeded. That's just super diligent and super intentional pick and roll play against a team who do have a weakness defensively in that area. And sometimes a star player just has to do star player things late in games, and I'd argue that's even more important against this Denver team. Edwards takes KCP into the post. He tells Towns to clear the area out and get to the weak side of the floor, so that the possibility of him spinning out of the post to the baseline side is there, but he ends up settling for the kind of post fade that we've seen littering the history books from the best players of all time, and that's the shot that sinks Denver. I do also think he deserves a little shout out for his playmaking though. Maybe you only see 3 assists in the box score and it seems like this was just a scoring explosion and nothing more, but he made the right play all night long in the same way that he did in that Phoenix series, and his teammates often just couldn't convert on those shots. It's really important that he keeps making those passes and keeps forcing the defense to think about his teammates as potential scorers, because that's how he's going to be able to warp that defense and force them to fan out away from him a little more when he is operating as a scorer. Those shots are going to fall if he keeps making the right play, and the last thing you want to do against a team with Denver's chemistry is allow them to get comfortable defensively. Overall, it's probably the best game of Anthony Edwards' career, and I feel like we're saying that on a nightly basis in these playoffs. Let's hope we see more of it in the weeks to come, and let's hope we continue to see awesome hoops in this Western Conference battle. Thanks again for watching Howls and Growls. Please subscribe for more.